Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video going to be a wee roundup of all the transfer ins and outs and rumours that have cropped up for Celtic over the weekend. Obviously, over the weekend, no football team who is quoted on the stock market can announce a signing or a departure, and so it may be over the course of today and tomorrow that the first couple of names of players leaving Celtic or coming into Celtic start to be confirmed. Before we crack on with the video, just a wee quick request: if you haven't subscribed to the channel as yet, but you do like this video and the general content on the channel, please do click that subscribe button. Keep the numbers pushing past 600. For those who are well known to the channel, there is the option now of the membership and joining for the low price of 99p a month. And as always, please do consider clicking the like button if you like the video. It helps with YouTube analytics. And as always, feel free to pop your pleasant, polite, constructive, debating comments into the comment section. And I'll do my best to reply as quick as I can, especially if you are part of the premium service of being a member of the channel. So, as I said, number of stories of players in and out at Celtic. Number one story is that Celtic appear to have been in some early negotiations with Atletico Madrid. They lodged a bid of 20 million euros for Matt O'Reilly in the winter transfer break window. That deal was to go up with appearances, etc. Celtic appear to have set now a price of 40 million euros for Matt O'Reilly, which would equate to £34 million. Atletico Madrid haven't responded to those negotiations. There are said to be quite a number of English Premier League clubs also in the hunt for Matt O'Reilly. Newcastle have been quoted, and a number of the mid and lower half teams in the English Premier League. Also, a few teams in France and Germany and Italy have all been thought to be in the chase for Matt O'Reilly. Teams such as Inter Milan, Girona, and Wolfsburg have all been quoted in the past as being potential targets for Matt O'Reilly. So we'll see whether that 40 million euros, £34 million price tag encourages bids or whether it scares off bids and means that Matt O'Reilly stays with us for the 24-25 season, at least for the Champions League part. Kyogo, who has been back at home in Japan doing some media appearances and TV punditry, in an address from the pitch to Livakovic fans, made it quite clear that he is not planning a return to Japanese football anytime soon, and this would appear to be a firm no to Kyogo leaving Celtic over the next season or two, and a firm no to the potential bid from Urawa in the J-League that was talking of breaking the J-League record to take Kyogo back to the J-League. Very encouraging news. I think Kyogo is going to be a key player for us in Scotland and in Europe over the course of this season and the next, hopefully, ideally, bolstered by an additional striker or two of top quality. So I think Kyogo does need someone who is a goal-scoring threat to come off the bench and also act as a regular player in a resting and rotation scheme with a couple of other top quality strikers. Talking of players leaving the club, I was expecting this morning that there would be full confirmation that Hyung-Ju Oh, our South Korean centre forward, was on his way to Genk in Belgium for £4.2 million. That deal doesn't appear to have been fully confirmed as yet, although it is said that Celtic, Oh, and Genk are all very much in agreement over the deal, and so I suspect over the next day or two that's going to be confirmed. Potential replacements for O have been mooted as Adam Idah. It would appear that Norwich are very much playing hardball with Celtic, upping the asking price to £8 million, and even then it would appear that Norwich are not planning to sell Idah in this summer transfer window. It looks, the early indications are that the new Norwich manager sees Idah as part of his first team squad and does appear to be offloading a couple of the other strikers in his squad. But we'll see whether that story goes anywhere. The Idah story is rather annoying and frustrating. Other names that Celtic have been linked over the last few days with being interested in, one of which is Tommy Conway of Bristol City, currently with Scotland in Germany. He's in his last year of his contract with Bristol and does not want to sign a new contract with Bristol, and Bristol thus are looking to offload him this summer for a reasonable transfer fee of a couple of million or so. Rangers are also said to be interested in Conway, although they appear to be looking to sign Conway on some form of agreement to take him next summer when his contract will be fully up. And so I suspect that this should put Celtic's interest up and look to get Conway in now rather than delaying it to the winter or next summer's transfer window for a cut price deal. I think if we could get Conway for a couple of £1 million, we would be getting an absolute bargain. So I think he's a player who has a lot of talent, would be a very good alternative to Kyogo, good enough to be a main strike for Celtic, certainly in Scotland to start with, and potentially so in Europe. And so I do hope Celtic do look to get Conway in sooner rather than later. Ex-Celtic striker Georgios Giakoumakis, who we transferred a couple of years ago to Atlanta, is on the move yet again, this time to Cruz Azul in the Mexican League, and that's a $10 million deal from Atlanta to Cruz Azul, and due to a very clever contract clause that we inserted into the deal to Atlanta, Celtic have recouped £900,000 in their share of that onward transfer, and so that can be added to the kitty, which may also in time be added to with a £7 million share of Jeremy Frimpong transfer from Bayer Leverkusen to one of several top European clubs. More news in Celtic's never-ending quest to bring in a new goalkeeper as our first choice to replace Joe Hart. It is said that at the end of last week, Celtic lodged a formal €9 million, £7.6 million bid for Dominic Livakovic, the current goalkeeper for Fenerbahce in the Turkish league. Livakovic is a goalkeeper we were said to be interested in last summer. However, Brendan Rodgers and the scouting recruiting team didn't go any further with past initial negotiations. Livakovic is currently 29 years old, Croatian international with 55 caps for Croatia. He is 6'2", and his contract with Fenerbahce does have another 4 years to run until June 2028. Looking at his stats for the last season, 23-24 with Fenerbahce, 47 appearances in all competitions with 21 clean sheets, and over his whole career, 442 appearances with 183 clean sheets. So we're looking at a clean sheet every 2.5 matches, roughly, which is a very good stat. His save percentage with Fenerbahce last season was 70%. Again, that's the sign of a good goalkeeper. And his match rating over all his games for Fenerbahce was at 6.99 as an average. Again, 7 usually being the point to separate a good player, and above 7 we're looking at a good to very good player. And so all the indicators are good there. As I said, Celtic are said to have made a €9 million bid. According to transfermarket.com, Livakovic is currently rated at €11 million, although these ratings often seem rather arbitrary. There's quite a lot of the figures quoted by Transfermarkt in the end don't prove to be anywhere near the mark. And does look like Celtic are making a bid close to his expected value, and does appear to be a small increase on the price Fenerbahce paid last season to buy him from Zagreb. Haven't as yet done a formal scouting analysis reel for Livakovic. Still waiting to see whether that bid is true, and if it is true, whether there's any interest at €9 million for Fenerbahce to sell him to Celtic, and also whether Celtic are willing to upgrade their bid to 10 or €11 million, which would take it into the realms of being Celtic's most expensive signing of all time, alongside the Odsonne Edouard £9 million transfer fee from a few seasons ago. Looking at some other players said to be linked to Celtic, there's been some good news regarding Flavius Daniliuc, the 23-year-old Austrian right back and centre back international. He is currently under contract to Salernitana in Italy. Salernitana were relegated from Serie A to Serie B, and so they are looking to offload a few of their players to fund new signings to take them back into Serie A. Daniliuc was on loan for the second part of the 23-24 season at Red Bull Salzburg, and it was thought that Red Bull Salzburg were going to put a bid in for him, and there was a loan to buy clause inserted in the deal. However, Red Bull Salzburg have decided at this time not to take up that loan to buy deal, and so Daniliuc would be available for transfer. And I think this will rekindle Celtic's strong interest in Daniliuc. I think from the recent video I did on Daniliuc, I was very positive about him coming to Celtic. I liked his ability to defend, good in the air, very good with the ball at his feet, a lot of pace for getting up and down the right wing if we were using him as a right back, right inverted fullback, a lot of pace and defence, both in terms of reaction time and physically over 5-10 metres. And very confident coming out of defence with the ball, very good at passing. And I think he would be a very big upgrade on Scales in our left centre-back position. And I think he would be a very good addition to Celtic's team and squad, especially if we are going to be offloading Kobayashi, Lagerbielke and potentially Nawrocki over the next few weeks. One other player that's been linked multiple times through multiple different articles and websites, etc., is Luke McCowan of Dundee. He was pretty much one of Dundee's couple of main stars last season. For Dundee last season, he had 41 appearances, 10 goals, 5 assists, and certainly was a dangerous player when we played Dundee at the start of the split to the season. 26 years old and 1 year left on his contract. He is quite a versatile midfielder, can play central midfield, attacking midfield, more of the Matt O'Reilly role, can play also wide on the right, and so would actually give Celtic quite a number of different options. Wasn't massively convinced this would be a good move for Celtic. 26 years old, not really a player that's really come onto the radar for good performances until the last season or so with Dundee. However, he would give Celtic quite a lot of versatility in midfield, would be a Scottish-born, homegrown player, which counts well towards the UEFA quotas, which we may well struggle to meet the 4-4 quota with our current squad, and so it's an interesting signing. And again, if that deal goes any further or starts to get stronger in terms of transfer rumours, I will look to do a more in-depth view at Luke McCowan as well. Now, other interesting news coming out of Celtic is Celtic have given full professional contracts to 9 of the academy players. None of the players are particularly well known unless you are a big fan of under 15, under 16, under 17 football internationally for Scotland. But several of the 9 players that Celtic have signed to first professional contracts are current internationals for Scotland at those age groups, and there were a couple that Celtic had to fight off interest from English top level academies as well to get their signing. And so it will be interesting to see how these players moving from the academy into the under 19, the B team, and the UEFA under 19 league to see how they do in those games, and also for the B team in the Lowland League. I think it's very important for Celtic to bring through their own talent. Celtic haven't done a good job over recent years bringing through young players. Kieran Tierney, probably the last player to come through the academy that really became a strong first team player. Daniel Kelly definitely has that potential if he chooses to sign his contract for Celtic. Similarly, Rocco Vata, both of whom are currently considering offers from Celtic and from other teams regarding longer term augmented contracts. And so it will be interesting to see how those 9 new young academy full professional contract players do over the next season. How many of them start to show good performances, how many of them are able to cope at the higher levels, playing in the B team in the Lowland League and also in Europe in the under 19 league. So that just about finishes things off for today. Over the next day or two, I'm going to be doing a wee scouting analysis video of Bojan Miovski, as it appears Celtic are looking potentially exploring a deal with Aberdeen to bring Miovski to Celtic, given the fact that the deal for Adam Idah seems to have hit in a few snags and potentially could be delayed for a good month or two. And so it does look like Celtic have rekindled negotiations and interest with taking Bojan Miovski, who still is under contract at Aberdeen, and bringing him to Celtic. And so over the next day or two, I will do a wee scouting video on Miovski, as well as updating on any new news and stories linking players coming in and out of Celtic. So for today, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Do have a wee think about clicking those subscribe, join, like, and comment buttons. And so until tomorrow, goodbye and hail, hail.